Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. The Sussexes put out a really fanciful, overdone, overworked statement of word salad. Let's poke some holes in this. Let's see what they actually were trying to say. Honestly, they're asking for it with this sort of hyperbole, really, especially after their Colombia trip drew such valid and serious criticism. To come out with this statement, not a good move. It begins, "We were deeply moved by the progress and passion demonstrated in Colombia as we continue through the Archewell Foundation to advance our mission to create positive change around the world." Sounds fabulous if you are writing a book. Not fabulous for this purpose, okay? Advance our mission to create positive change around the world is far too broad, far too vague. What specifically are you doing? Because to create change, it has to be something specific. It can't just be positive change in general. That's a key issue that you run into in the pageant world when asked things like that. What would be your one wish for the world today? It cannot just be a more positive place. The most vague answers get the lowest scores. You need something really specific, and it needs to be backed up intelligently so that people can see your vision and your values in your answer. And so this is just saying, we have a mission to create positive change around the world. Cool, so does everybody, but that doesn't mean you can actually do it because you're too broad. Too broad. Also, deeply moved, were you really, by the progress and passion demonstrated in Colombia as we continue to advance our mission. I don't really particularly like, from a writing perspective, how they're not just giving props to certain progress that they witnessed in Colombia. They're circling it back to them, that as they continue to advance their mission. Also, what did they do to advance their mission? Nothing, really. And what progress and passion was demonstrated in Colombia? Exactly. Because the consensus is that there's a lot of progress that could be made, and the Sussexes didn't exactly help make any progress. Anyway, the Afro-Descendant Women and Power Voice of Equity panel featuring the Duchess of Sussex was a powerful platform for highlighting the remarkable work of the Parents Network and the Welcome Project. By shining a spotlight on these organizations, we aim to amplify their efforts in supporting marginalized communities and fostering inclusivity. Problems. Did it feature the Duchess of Sussex, or did she latch on to this? A powerful platform. How? It wasn't televised. It wasn't broadcast. We have no idea what the rest of the panelists said. We have no idea the entire conversation. There's no transcript released, so we can't read it. And there was only like 25% capacity in that auditorium. So a very, very small select group of people got to hear this. So how is that powerful? What would be powerful would be broadcasting these sorts of conversations so that people everywhere can hear them and maybe be inspired if they are so great. Just saying. Highlighting the remarkable work of the Parents Network is exaggerating, fully exaggerating. The Parents Network is in its infancy and has a very, very small group. Fine. You got to start somewhere. Fair. But is it remarkable? Not yet. We have all dealt with people who exaggerate and make things sound bigger, more important, better than they are, lie on social media posts, stuff like that. And that's what this feels like. The Welcome Project, we haven't heard anything about it for like a year or more at this point. Shining a spotlight on these organizations. How did it shine a spotlight on them? These organizations do not operate in Colombia. They operate in the United States. So that makes no sense. And they aim to amplify their efforts. How? Also, once again, we didn't actually hear what was said in the panel. That's not going to amplify anything. Our visit with young people in Kelley further reinforced our commitment to empowering vulnerable youth. Okay, further reinforce just means it was something that aligned with it, basically. Visiting with young people is in alignment with a commitment to empower vulnerable youth. That's it. That's saying nothing. That's giving no information. It's just being like, we went and visited them because we like doing that. We like seeing youth organizations that are helping out the community. That's fine. That's good. Why not, though, instead explain more of the value behind it and how you would like to expand similar programs for underprivileged youth in other places or something. Maybe that would be a better approach, deliver a little more value here. Through the transformative power of arts and dance, we witnessed firsthand how creative expression can aid in healing and help young people forge brighter futures. Okay, but that's standard. Every arts program everywhere technically does that and aims to do it. The joy and resilience of these students were truly inspiring. Kind words. But once again, missed opportunity here to push it towards an initiative that they can support, that it inspired them to fund these initiatives expanding into more communities. Maybe it would have been nice to see how they're applying their inspiration to real life. The energizing drum circle continued our focus on youth empowerment. That's saying the same thing that the other sentence did. That's saying the exact same thing. Okay, so we just did a couple of events that are in alignment with supporting youth. You could just say that. You don't have to say it twice, 2 different ways. This engaging activity provided an opportunity for participants to connect, express themselves, and build confidence, reinforcing the vital role of community and creativity. Saying the same thing again. This is word salad personified. This is exactly what word salad is. It's just saying the exact same thing over and over, or saying nothing with lots of words. There is no new information here. We are proud to support this work to ensure that the cultural traditions of this community are preserved and celebrated. How? Much more valuable than all those other sentences that are repetitive and deliver no information. It would have been much more valuable to tell us how. How are you supporting this work and ensuring that it's preserved and celebrated? How? What are you doing? Besides giving them drums, are you funding it? Are you expanding it? Are you, giving money to open another one in another area of town? What are you doing specifically? Additionally, our Insight session and Responsible Technology Summit brought together thought leaders and innovators to explore the intersection of technology and social impact. We don't need to explore it anymore. Harold and the Meg need to stop exploring this issue. It is very apparent what the problems actually are and the challenges that youth face when it comes to digital spaces and keeping kids safe. These discussions are crucial as we work towards harnessing technology responsibly to benefit communities and drive positive change. Once again, saying nothing. What would be much more impactful to include in this press release or letter would be, once again, some specifics of what exactly they're doing to drive this positive change that they keep talking about. We have no idea what this positive change is. And I've said it before, I'm not trying to be a broken record here, but taking the approach of educating children about the perspective that needs to be placed on online interactions. Not just being aware and mindful of the dangers and how to stay safe, but to not put too much weight on it. Like Harry and Meghan set a really bad example of this because they put far too much weight on online comments about them, the criticism, the press from the start. That was their mistake like a decade ago when they first got together and started, I guess it wasn't a full decade ago, but years and years ago when they first got together and started getting pissy that the articles were not more saccharine to them, more fawning over Meghan and just wholly positive. They've been pissy about that since 2017. And that's putting far too much weight on online interactions, which is the exact opposite of what's healthy. They should be spreading the message of these things don't matter in real life. Ground yourself, have some hobbies in some other ways. Don't take the internet so seriously. Don't let it affect you. That's an empowering message. That's what they could be spreading and including here and spreading to other communities. But instead, they're just like, we're going to explore the problem some more, okay? Because Meghan wants to tell her stories again about victimhood and Harry wants to tell his stories about unfair press. They want to tell their stories to everybody. Every time they have a microphone, they want to tell these stories. So they're just going to continue to explore the problem so that they can continue on repeat telling these stories. And then they frame it as, we're trying to harness the technology to drive positive change, but there is never any positive change discussed. They're never discussing solutions. As always, no, our foundation's mission is to show up and do good. I have a serious problem with that mission. That's not an actual mission. That's more of a vibe. No matter where we are in the world, in alignment with this, the Archewell Foundation is excited to announce 3 significant contributions in the region. They are not significant, unfortunately. They're significant for the people immediately receiving it, but as we've discussed in my last video, it's a tiny percentage of the cost of the trip got donated. So in proportion, it's all wonky. It's off. We will be, have not yet, providing new drumming sets, supporting a secure environment for local children to explore, learn, and connect. Could be a playground, is the general consensus, and expanding the socio-emotional gym program. Each of these initiatives underscores our, each of these initiatives underscore our commitment. Typo, Archewell. Am I right or am I wrong? English teachers, help me out. Each of these initiatives underscores, it should be underscore, our commitment to making a difference and supporting programs that uplift and empower individuals and communities. Sure, but you're talking about it like you're changing the world. These are tiny, and many people would argue that Colombia has much more pressing issues that would be more beneficial to address. And the fact that they spent $2 million on this trip but have donated or pledged what would equate to maybe 20K, definitely less than 100K. That is a tiny percentage of the cost of the trip. It should be the other way around. They should be donating way, way more than the cost of the trip. Thank you to everyone involved for your dedication and passion. Together, we are making strides toward a more equitable and compassionate world. Are you, though? I am not sure that this is making strides. The problem with statements like these being so over the top, full of extra words, repetitive, and lacking real information is that it makes it all seem just for image. It's just for show. It's all fake. They're not backing it up with real stuff. And in an upcoming video, we're going to dive deeper into the differences between Archewell and the Sussexes approach and what actual philanthropists and people who are making actual change is. So be sure you're subscribed so you do not miss it. But it's time for question of the day, and this one's a totally random one, but I've been asked it like 3 times recently, so I will include it. Did you get lip filler? You look like you got lip filler. I did not, I have not, and I never have had lip filler. I don't think my lips are that big. They're pretty proportionate for my face, but no filler. Anyway, if you have a question for question of the day, please leave it below in the comments with #question so I do not miss it. Thank you so much for joining me for today's short little video. Leave it in the comments what you thought of this statement, and I will see you next time. Bye!